I popped open the scriptures the night that he left us, and I found the story where Jesus on the road from Jerusalem to Jericho, and the crowd's following Christ, and you know what happens? There's all the commotion, there's all this activity, there's all this curiosity. On the side of the road, there was a little blind beggar. And the guy asked somebody, what's happening here? And somebody says, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And so this little blind man is probably thinking to himself, Jesus, he's the healer. Maybe he's come to open my eyes. And so he starts to cry, Jesus, Son of David, Jesus, have mercy on me. And just like us, even us urban youth workers, the people tried to silence that man. They tried to keep him on the margins. They tried to keep him subdued. But I love the story because in the scripture, the only person that passage tells that Jesus stopped for was that blind man begging. And it's funny, one of my brothers is legally blind. I don't have to tell you that. If you meet him, you're going to know. But Jesus stands face to face with this man and he says, what do you want me to do for you? Right? It's crazy. The disciples are probably like pinching their nose and they're just like, oh, don't embarrass them. But he knows what we need. He needs us to bring it to him. The blind man says, Lord, I want to see. And Jesus says, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. Now, I started to think about that story. I started to think about that Muslim man that had been working with. And as I started to pray, I started to realize that in that legacy of love, in that reciprocity, in becoming the receptor of his donation of the grace that he offered me, he was a mirror to me. I'm the blind beggar. My pride, my selfishness, my insecurities, my lust, my reputation, all these things are begging. Really, we play crazy. It is the bread of life that satisfies that hunger. And we're blind. Y'all, we're trying to do our best. We're trying to figure it out. We want to be faithful. We want to be effective. We want to see the kingdom come. But if we do not reach out and ask God to take us by the hand and lead us, we're never going to get there. So there's a story, right? Jesus spits in this man's eyes. He was also blind. It didn't exactly work. Dude opens his eyes and he's like, I sort of see trees walking around. Jesus is like, let's try this again. I think that happens to us. I think a lot of us get close enough to Christ that we have our eyes open just a little bit, that it looks like we're seeing trees walking around, and we think that's good enough. We're not patient. We don't press in for more. We don't ask more and expect more. And so we're spinning our wheels. We need to recover the malformation of the legacy of love that we're almost at the point of grasping onto and yet not completely taken a hold of.